She's known as the First Lady of Graffiti. Born in Ecuador and raised in Queens, Lady Pink first broke into the male-dominated world of New York street art in the late 1970s. From painting subway cars to large-scale murals, her work has become a symbol of resistance and creativity. And guess what? Lady Pink joins me right now, to talk about her career and her latest work, a mural at the MOMA Museum right here in New York. Lady Pink, it is so good to see you. Thanks for joining us.
Well, thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely. So you started at just 15 years old, which is just so incredible. What made you first pick up a spray can and claim your space on these rough streets of New York?
I think it was the rebellious spirit that I had. I had to get out, sneak out of my house and go and paint those subway trains. Not many girls wanted to do that, but I was determined to break into the boys' club.
Well, and that's exactly what I want to talk about, because you're a woman who broke into this real male-dominated world, right? So what defined your journey?
I think it was a shared personality. I was a precocious kid, and the more that the guys would say, "Oh, girls can't do that," and I was watch me, the more I needed to prove it. It was the feminist in me. I was inspired by great actresses like Eve Plum from the Brady Bunch and Marsha. Everyone standing up for their rights. So I had to do it. I had to paint those subway trains. And then once I got fame and I was down with the cool kids, it was addictive. I had to stick with it.
I bet. And you know, what's interesting is that graffiti back then, it was often dismissed as sort of, vandalism, but you turned it into a real fine art. What did it take to gain that respect of the art world?
Well, let's get this straight. It is still vandalism. If you put it in something that doesn't belong to you, it is vandalism. But we took it above ground. We were invited by some of the finest galleries and museums around the world to exhibit our work. And then they were showering us with money and books and documentaries, motion pictures, like the movie Wild Style. I played the lead in that when I was a teenager. Everything went above ground. So I was naturally talented for that age, but also outspoken and bold and rebellious. This is all about rebellion in art.
And we're looking at all these images, and they're so incredible. You are just so talented. You actually have a new mural at MoMA's PS1. It's called Foundations. What inspired it, and what was that creation process like?
So it was cool that I was in MoMA PS1 at the age of 17, exhibiting with Keith Haring and Basquiat many years ago, 1981, I believe. And now I am back at MoMA painting a big mural celebrating 5 points. And that was a huge building. You stood right across the street from this mural. And it was a welcome haven for all street artists from around the world for decades. It's now been knocked down. But the foot here is called Foundation. And that is what street art is. It is children, young people doing art for the fun of it, which is the foundation for all art. We all did it in kindergarten, and now we're all grown-up artists.
Oh, and when you mentor young artists, which I'm sure they must feel so lucky when you're the one mentoring them, what advice do you give the next generation of creatives who really want to make their mark?
Okay, so my education was, in the train yards and in the boot camp for artists, if you will. So I teach young people in an aggressive kind of way. Just take your space, own it. Don't ask, may I please? This is yours, and do what you must with it. So I teach boldness and confidence, and I've been working with the Frank Sinatra School of the Arts. That's a high school in Queens for 25 years. And we paint murals every single year in the community, giant scale pieces of work, and kids love to paint big. They don't like to run from the police nearly like as much as we did. That is what I like to teach: color and life and being one with the community, showing pride in your own neighborhood and being able to alter your community with a little bit of permission. Anybody can go out there and do it.
Well, we are so glad that you brought all of your energy to us. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
All right, Lady Pink.